The first job on the agenda here was to replace the oil lines. This job was actually done twice. Here I'm putting on the first bash at oil lines, just see-through tubing that is oil resistant, but I later on changed it to braided hoses. This bike came with Boyer Branston electronic ignition, so I had to set the timing again, having tinkered and moved about everything. I use a nail, and the nail has two marks on it, and the two marks are 7mm apart, so that I can set the piston to top dead centre and then back it off till the piston has dropped 7mm. I then set the timing. I've actually drilled through this blob of solder here so that I can see the screw and the magnet underneath. I fitted a new grommet to the alternator cable. Now I sent off for a set of new clutch springs because the clutch springs I had, one of them was very different from the other three. However, the clutch springs that I got from Brit Bikes, three of them were the same size, but one of them is about 1.5 millimeters shorter, and it did give me trouble getting the clutch to balance and not wobble afterwards. Now it's a bit disappointing, but after all this I've still got oil leaks, even just leaving the bike standing. My biggest oil leak is coming from the gearbox, I believe, and I think it is caused by a helicoil insert. So let's pull it all apart again. This is me removing that troublesome insert. I think I showed a few days ago that the engine has been leaking oil. I'll be able to check up when I'm putting the video together. Bit disappointing after all the work to find out I'm still leaking oil, but I think I have found the problem. And I think this is the problem. That's the insert that I took out, and that's what an insert should look like. So I'm going to replace that insert, but I have to tap the thread a wee bit better. So I've been waiting for some days for this tap to come on eBay. This is the thread here. I've actually re-tapped it because I don't think of things like that of getting the camera out at the time. Yeah, it taps right into the end now of the... I made up my own tool to put in the insert from a cheap screwdriver, just cutting off the head and putting a slot in it. I'm sure some of you will not be happy with a large amount of blue Hylamar, but I'm desperate to try and get this case to seal this time. Well, this has arrived in the post today, and this is what's been holding me up, waiting for this before I can finish the engine. Now, this is the one that was on the bike, and whoever had it has polished it beautifully. I'll never manage to polish this as beautifully as that. However, this had a major problem in that the screw that fits up here couldn't tighten against the case, and I'm doing everything I can to try to get these oil leaks to stop. So I'll remove the badge from there and put it on here, but I'm going to try a little bit of Solvol Autosol first. But this, the case facings are really nice, and that's a risk you have to take with eBay. You've got to look at the pictures carefully to see what you're getting. But I'm quite pleased with that. Slightly better. There's a wee crack just in there. I suppose when you own a bike that was owned originally by 16, 17-year-olds, they're going to use a hammer when they're doing jobs on it. That was the original one, and this is what I'm putting in now. Now, I would like to impress all viewers by starting this first kick, but unfortunately life is not quite like that.